Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we're talking week 2 rankings already as week 1 is over. And I mean, we learned some things, I guess. I have a hard time really putting a lot of stock in what happens in week 1, just because, I mean, we're going to learn a little bit, but players could have bad games in week 7 or 8 and you don't think of it the same way. So we'll see how we feel about all those. Before we do that, though, make sure you guys go check us out on Twitter at the FF Profit or Instagram, Fantasy Football Profit. The website's fantasyfootballprofit.com. And then once again today, we are sponsored by MyBookie again today. So go over to MyBookie, use that promo code PROPHET, PROPHET, and they will hook you up there. You got some, we did learn a little bit of week 1, so it might be a lot easier to get some wagers in for week 2. Try to get some as we're learning, maybe still take advantage of the point spreads that might not be perfect. Vegas doesn't have it all down yet. So go check that out. Use that promo code PROPHET. And it's once again, mybookie.com. All right, Jeff, let's jump into these ranks here. So I'm going to start us off with basically some listener questions. And my rankings, probably yours too, are kind of still like a work in progress. We're recording this on Tuesday night, I would believe, right? You don't have them perfect yet. So I'm trying to get mine down because I don't know what I believe. I mean, stuff like, do you believe in Corey Davis now? Is Corey Davis a better wide receiver than A.J. Brown?
Better than A.J. Brown? No, but he's gotten me again. Every time I talk about Corey Davis, I'm always like, one day he'll put it all together. So I love seeing it. I'm not going to rank him above A.J. Brown, but he did shoot up my list. Like, I do believe that he is playable in a tough spot. Yeah. But obviously you need to see more than 1 week. That doesn't mean anything. He's
trying for the late Devontae Parker breakout thing here.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it is very tough because we saw a lot of things we didn't like and a lot of things we did, but how much does that really count? Week 1 after a stranger off season than we're used to seeing. You're not, you don't see each play with the quarterback and you don't get as many reps, all this stuff. So what is real and what isn't becomes a very difficult question. So I do, my rankings have definitely changed, but I do try to lean a little more into, the players we know and we fell in love with and we've seen them do it before. So I don't try to overreact from week 1.
Yep. So let's go with this first question here. We'll start off the quarterback spot. We'll go Dylan here. Dylan asks us, who should I start this week? It's at quarterback. He's looking at Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. So I don't know about you, but I think you take away Brees right away, obviously, especially with Michael Thomas. Looks like he's not going to be playing now. So take away Brees. And to me, it's between Rodgers and Allen. And this is actually a tough one for me. I'm being honest. This is really tough because I know obviously what Allen brings to the table with the running ability. But I still think Aaron Rodgers is just better. And this comes down to trust for me, I believe. I think it's going to come down to trust. And I trust Aaron Rodgers. And Josh Allen he's just a wild card. I know he's good like in fantasy-wise, but he still feels like a wild card. I think I would still play it safe. And I think I'd still go Aaron Rodgers here, actually, playing against the Lions.
Yeah, I would too. I like Aaron Rodgers better. I only have him one spot higher than Josh Allen. So it is not.
I do too, actually.
Like it's a wild, right? Not a chasm between them. I like Aaron Rodgers better. I like what I saw in week 1. He has a healthy Devontae Adams, which is pretty much all he needs. And they're playing really, really well. And you're playing Detroit, who just got torched in the fourth quarter by Trubisky. Bringing up old wounds again just from last week. Josh Allen is going against Miami. It's a good matchup. I don't think you can really go wrong with either of these guys. But if you had to ask me, I think Aaron Rodgers not only is safer, but I think he has the way I saw him play in week 1. I do believe that he has a little higher of a ceiling as well. So, if you had the hunch and you want to go for Josh Allen, or you really want to be, a little more of that floor with the running, I get it, but I would lean towards Aaron Rodgers, but it's a very, small distance between the two.
So we had one other quarterback question that I think will fit for this. It's kind of gonna be a rankings question in a way, because we got Arvin. He says he needs a new quarterback because he has Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz, but he wants to pick up one off the waiver wire that is more reliable. Which I'm gonna base this off rankings then. He's leaning toward, these are the reliable ones he's looking at: Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Jimmy Garoppolo, Phillip Rivers. So if you look at your rankings, those four are still behind Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And the rough part is, I don't really think that reliability, Garoppolo is reliable.
Reliable for a decent game, but nothing special. Yeah,
exactly. But I don't know what that necessarily means. Like, I think that Wentz has just as good an opportunity to match Garoppolo, even though I think Garoppolo will kind of put that together every single week. You know what you're going to get from him. And I don't know if he needs, I don't know why he needs more, if he actually wants to play this quarterback or what. But if I was him, I wouldn't look at reliability necessarily. If you're going to have two quarterbacks, I would start looking at schedule, and I would start looking at I would actually look at upside. I really would, because if you're going to go down this route, I would rather stream. So the bigger question would be, who is going to be good for, and try to get a couple games in a row. It always makes it a lot easier when you're doing waivers and whatnot. So if you can get a guy that you're like, okay, this stretch of 3 games is really good, like I want to use him for that. That is kind of probably where I would go with it. And saying that, though, I still like the 2 players on your team better than I like any of the 3 you named, even though it looks like Rivers is going to throw a lot, but I don't trust it yet, because we saw what he did in, Los Angeles. I was going to say San Diego. We saw what he did for the Chargers last year. Yep. And I think that's what he's going to do this year. It'll be some exciting games, but he's going to throw a lot of interceptions, and I'm still on Team Wentz.
Me too.
I know that
I'm there.
I know that it looked a little off kilter, but I really love the tight ends he has. Miles Sanders coming back will help him. And I think Rager getting a few games under his belt, and then just getting anyone like Deshaun Jackson or someone healthy will do wonders for him. So I would not bail on that ship yet.
No, me either. I'm going with Wentz here. I think Wentz is far and away better than these other options. I mean, Drew Lock didn't really show much without Cortland Sutton there. He still has some upside. Daniel Jones, I don't know. I mean, he's going to have good weeks. He wasn't like terrible. I mean, Darius Slayton looks like a good option, so I'm not too concerned there. So that's about the last of the quarterback question. So I just want to throw out real quick, where are you looking at Cam Newton? Do you think Cam Newton, is he like a QB1 for you yet? Is he getting up to the top 10 level, or is he still a little below that, playing at Seattle this week?
Yeah, he's a little bit below that because Seattle, I want to see him throw quite a few, more than what he did. What did he throw, like 20 times last week? I want to see him throw more before I can throw him up there. I have him at 13th right now. All the guys ahead of him have done it or had like monster games, and I loved seeing him run in 2. And I do believe he's going to be very good, and I think he's going to be the Swiss Army knife. Like, whatever they need him to do, he is going to. Yep. But I don't know what that means against a good team. I mean, this might be the one where Seattle's going to put up points, so he's going to have to throw. But right now, if you're asking me between him and a Matt Ryan or a Josh Allen, or I think I have a few guys like Deshaun Watson is a very difficult one for me. I have him at number 10 going against Baltimore, but I still the way he pulled it out last week still makes me rank him above Cam. So I need one more week pretty much in order to get him into the top 10.
Yep. I'm good with that. I think most of the guys up top, the quarterbacks, no one really disappointed too much. It was kind of straightforward. The good guys were decent, so there's not too much room to move people around yet up there. Lamar is number 1 for me. Mahomes is number 2. It's simple as that. It's I don't know how you have ranked Wilson and Prescott, but they seem to still be 3 and 4, I would say.
Yeah, I struggle with it. I put Dak number 3, but I like Russell better. I have a hard time with this one because Atlanta, I mean, they got thrown on. They threw a lot. I figure it's going to be a back and forth game. Maybe that means it's going to be bigger for Zeke. I don't really know yet. I'm trusting last year and thinking that actually, no, I'm going to go with Russell. I just trust him more. I would start him. I'm not going to lie to you. And then Dak would be number 4. And then I would put Kyler number 5. And then Aaron Rodgers number 6, Josh Allen number 7, and then we go down from there.
All right, so Clark asked a question here of who should he start at his running back 2 spot? Are you looking James Robinson or Devin Singletary? He says you also have Matt Breida too, but Matt Breida, I am off that bandwagon after week 1. He is not playing.
That was a hurtful one.
Yep, I thought he could do that. I think that was a clear situation. We know really early on it's just not his. So
yeah, and even if it was, I don't know what that would do. Yeah,
I'm not worried about that. So it comes down to James Robinson and Devin Singletary, which could be another sore spot for us here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, does that mean I actually would stick with Singletary again? And once again, I
will too.
And I was going to say
they're close though.
Does it worry me? Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah. Singletary, Zach Moss didn't do a whole lot with his carries, but he got the goal line carries. We talked about this last week at ad nauseum, but Josh Allen, the way he runs, really does hurt the running back position on that team. I believe in the talent. I do think I would definitely start him ahead of James Robinson, only because we had 1 week. He didn't do anything too special, but he is in the conversation now. He seems like he's a guy, so that's great. But I would still stick with Singletary 1 more week because we know what he can do.
Yeah, the snap count was still – Singletary I think had around – I think I saw the snap count was maybe like 12 more snaps than Moss did. He's still the main guy. It's hard to be the main guy if Josh Allen's going to take away every carry from you. Josh Allen, he can give it to Singletary on the read option. Like it's a thing you can do. So we'll see. We'll see if he learns that. But I say that because I'm a Singletary believer. But it's not like Josh Allen was bad doing it. He played well except for the fumble. The fumbles need to stop. But he's such a great athlete and just runner that I get it. It makes sense.
Once again, it's one of these that it'll be ebb and flow, and the year is going to be annoying. I already know this now. But if you're a defense, and I know that he did it all last year too. I'm not saying they're going to be able to just wind up and hit the guy, but and his throwing is not, where it needs to be at the moment. But he obviously has a very strong arm. But I do believe at some point defenses are going to say, all right, well, he kept the ball 90% of the time they did the read. So anytime they do that, just hit him. I don't care. Hit him. Let Singletary or whoever, like if he hands it off, that's our bad. But, if he's going to be 90% of the offense, we're going to take that away. I do believe eventually that will happen. It might even happen in week 2. We'll find out. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Josh Allen is impervious to any defense and he's just running around. I don't know.
I think the closest comparison I can find to him, it reminds me of like a Cam Newton, like what Cam Newton was, with the size and the running ability and not the greatest passing ability in the world. He's not even as good as Cam, I believe, at that.
No, it's kind of a poor man's version of Cam, but I think that is a good comparison, though.
Yeah, it's similar.
The way he's able to run, as a young quarterback, definitely hurts the defense they're playing.
Well, there's just nobody at that size that can just shake off defenders like that. Lamar doesn't do that. Lamar is a different type of thing, obviously. Kyler's a different thing.
Yeah.
Those are different runners.
Yeah. Lamar we haven't seen Lamar. Obviously, like it is crazy to say that Michael Vick was a poor man's Lamar Jackson. Like
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and that's crazy to say because Michael Vick might be the most athletic guy I've ever seen play football before Lamar.
All right, got a couple of other questions here. You got Jack. He's asking about how worried are we about Joe Mixon and Saquon Barkley? So I'm going to check out our ranks and how did we react to them in 1 week? And I will say I did. I lost my spot. I dropped Barkley.
Are either of them out of the top 10?
No, they're still there. Barkley, I believe, if I pull this up, is I think 8 for me, 7 or 8. I lost my rank. There we go, 7. He is still 7, which I don't know though. Josh Jacobs, that one I might have to move.
I have Saquon at 7 and Joe Mixon at 9.
Okay, and I have
8 and 9. What did I say? 7? Yeah, 8 and 9.
I have Mixon at 10. So they're still there. I'm going to Saquon though, I did drop him because it stared me. It was like it hit me in the face last night. It's like, why did I rank Saquon ahead of Zeke? I'm thinking for the year. They're both great players, but Zeke's offense is so much better. I guess I just expected more of a jump. Maybe I'm overreacting, but it was like watching that game. It's like, oh wow, like what was I thinking? Zeke.
Well, part of it is an overreaction to week one.
It's some of it, but that offense wasn't.
Yes, but the other one, and I can justify it in my head, right? I mean, Saquon, when he was healthy last year, was still doing stuff that like amazed you. And you were like, okay, Daniel Jones will have another year under his belt. They should, like, that line should get healthier. I mean, maybe they're not going to be great, but they should be better. And Saquon still looked really good. And on top of that, you have 3 really, really good wide receivers. Dak was starting to throw more. So Zeke is going to be part of a great offense, but Saquon is the offense. So in my mind,
True.
I'm not completely going away from it, but they have some work to do to get back on track. And I feel the same way about Mixon. I'm not off the bandwagon. I feel like he is in a better situation than he was last year. And last year he gutted it out, and last half of the year he made it work. Give him a couple of games to, for Burrow to feel comfortable. He is the guy there. And I know that, they didn't throw to him game 1, but I know that for a rookie quarterback and AJ Green coming back, there's a lot of moving parts there. I'm not going to overreact in week 1, and he still didn't, like, with the carries he got, he looked fine. So don't overreact. I get it. I do get it, because like anytime you spend a first round draft pick on anyone, you need them to produce. But right now, this is not the time to take your chips down, because you're going to not get the value back.
And another concerning player here, another guy asked, are you concerned about Eckler? And somewhat too. It's a similar situation. I'm not going to try to get too worried about week 1, but the targets weren't there, and Tyrod Taylor looks terrible. So it's a bit of concern. I'm still ranking Eckler similar to where I did previously. I think I have him at about 13th for this week. So it's a similar spot. I'm not going too overboard yet. I'm really not trying to overreact too much to these. I think Saquon's probably the one I reacted the most to and dropped him, just because there's so many good running backs up there that he can drop. Eckler, I think, is still at this level. We'll see. I need to see a little bit more, but there's concern. I mean, there's concern about all of it. Nothing. You don't want to see these players do nothing in the first week, and the targets need to be there for him.
Yeah, and I still have Eckler at number 11, and part of that is my belief that he's such a huge part of the offense last year that you're looking at who did what, how do we get him back on track. It's great that Joshua Kelly, I mean, honestly, it's great because Eckler has never been that type of running back. They've used both really well. So I know that he can coexist with him. And if you're going to play KC next week, they're going to put up a lot of points, I have a feeling. You're going to have to throw it. Tyrod, if whatever, we're going to have to push his level of comfort. So I do think that they're going to try to target Eckler, because those are going to be the easy throws for him. So I do think we'll see more of the old Eckler this upcoming game. If we don't, then once again, reevaluate, but I'm like you. I'm not going to overreact on this one.
Then Win Diesel has a final running back question for us. Would Benny Snell be an RB2 against Denver if Connor is out? And then also to add to his question, if Connor's healthy, is Snell still a flex? So I'll say if Connor's healthy, I'm not going to put Snell at a flex. And honestly, I think Snell is more of a flex even if Connor's out. He had a good week 1. He looked pretty solid, but I saw a lot of Benny Snell last year where he didn't really impress me. I know there was better reports about him this year, but I would need to see a lot more. And I don't think anybody's in that bad of a spot where Benny Snell would be a RB2 right now. I guess, unless you had Connor as your RB2, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's okay, but I'd rather have him as a flex.
Okay, yeah, I can buy into that. I was going to say he's definitely a flex. I would say, back end running back too, probably. Pittsburgh does give anyone that is the running back a lot of carries. I mean, what do you have, 19? He had 19 carries. So if you're going to give him that kind of production, then I would think that he's a back end running back too. Doesn't mean, depending on your team, who do you start? And I agree with you though. If Connor's in there, they're going to give all the carries to Connor. So he disappears from my lineup if Connor's healthy.
Yep. All right, we got some wide receiver questions here. So we got Cody. He's asking us who are we gonna start at his wide receiver 2? Do you go Odell Beckham? Do you go Terry McLaurin? Do you go Marquise Brown? So there's only 2 options here for me. It's either Terry McLaurin or Marquise Brown, because I don't care about the other guy.
Dude, this hurts my heart so much. How did we get to this point though, where this is even a question? And it's a good question. That is so sad to me.
It's Terry McLaurin for me, and Marquise Brown's a number 2 for me, and the other guy's number 3.
I'm
I'm going Terry McLaurin.
Oh, wow.
Brown's a solid option too. I like Brown.
We're all over the place. Actually, McLaurin would be number 3 for me.
Oh no, I mean there's nah.
I mean, dude, they got the win, but it wasn't because of their offense necessarily last week. I would have to see more of Haskins. I actually like Hollywood Brown. I would start him.
He was good.
Yeah, and they threw it to him quite a bit more than they did last season, and he always has the upside of catching a long touchdown. He had almost a 50-yarder last game.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, you're kind of like, yeah, that makes it kind of worth it. So they're going to throw it to him. I like Hollywood Brown better. Then I would be OBJ because I'm still holding out hope, and I guess I'm just dying on that hill if it comes down to this. If we have 3 guys to pick from,
I just don't care about that person.
Love the talent, but he is one that I do have to see Washington, their offense, kind of turn it around a little more before I say, yeah, let's throw him in the lineup. So Hollywood Brown for me.
All right, next one. Got 2 players here looking to start at wide receiver 2. Do you go Tyler Boyd or Julian Edelman? Who should Noah start here, Boyd or Edelman?
Okay, we might disagree on a lot of these. I'm not going to lie because these are splitting hairs, but I actually would go Edelman.
I think so too.
From what I saw last week in Cincy, it is the greatest fear of Boyd owners is pretty much what happened, right?
He wasn't a big factor.
No, AJ Green was back and he was the guy. And in crunch time, he was the guy that Burrow already went to.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm on board with that. All right, 2 final questions here to round this thing out. We got tight end questions. So here we go. Who are we starting at tight end this week? Evan Ingram, Hayden Hurst, or Dallas Goedert?
Well, you know what I'm going to do. I go Dallas. I would.
So,
yeah, and I'm I'm
on board.
Goddard fan.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it too.
We did it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a tough one. We got a lot of Dallas Goedert questions. Where he ranked is going to be a very interesting overall, but I know for a fact he will be over these 2 for me.
Yep, and then Logan had the final question, which we already answered because it was the same thing. Is like, who should I go Goddard? Should I put Goddard over Hurst? And yeah, I think we both agreed with it. So yeah, there we go. Ranks for the week. Some interesting. We're going to learn a lot more. I don't like to overreact too much, except I don't even think I'm overreacting to that stuff about that receiver in Cleveland. That one guy, I can't remember his name anymore. But with that guy, I don't think I'm overreacting to it. I think I'm just finally reacting to it, that he's not good.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say he's not good. He's talented. It's just not working. Something's wrong.
No, something is wrong in Cleveland for sure. I do have a question and we might be able to go over it in the next episode, but what do you see as far as the trade rumors about OBJ and the trade rumors about Allen Robinson?
The Robinson one was weird to me.
I mean, first of all, that seems like a legit one. Either that or he's throwing a fissy. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, that was a strange one. The Odell one, it could happen. I mean, the guy's not producing and the team's not. Why? Just get rid of him. I would just get rid of him. It's just not working.
Yeah.
The Robinson one's weird though.
Yeah, I mean, he's angry about something. He's definitely the number 1 there. They're not giving him his.
He wants
extension.
That contract. Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Maybe 2 big names would be out there, and that would do wonders. I mean, it'd be great for OBJ. I don't know if it would, depending on where Allen Robinson went. Obviously, he's very talented, but he's the number 1 there. So
you have to go somewhere decent. I don't know. I think that's all just who knows. Well, it's odd. Just the Odell one the Robinson one just kind of threw me off. I didn't see that coming. So, but all right, that'll do it for Ranks. We'll be back tomorrow with our mailbag. Talk to you guys then.